Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Leviathan. I just wanted to go ahead and make this video on Bard again because I did actually make a lot of mistakes in my previous Bard build. At the time, I was just starting out in Lost Ark, so I didn't really know too much, and I kind of just made a build on what I thought to be was good. Now that I played the game a little bit more, I've actually learned a lot that Bard is actually going to be a really useful, supportive class. In the previous video, I did say that True Courage was better than Desperate Salvation, when in reality, True Courage is very minimal engraving to kind of pick up compared to Desperate Salvation. Bard's heal is going to be a lot better compared to True Courage and for that damage buff. Heal is going to benefit you more and more for your team compared to that damage that actually only you get. I made the mistake of saying that actually the entire team gets it, so again, seeing a 20% damage increase isn't really that beneficial, especially for a Bard that doesn't deal too much damage. So again, that's my mistake, but this is going to be a video on correcting that, and I do appreciate everyone that commented it in that previous video. It was because of you guys made me kind of learn a little bit more about Bard. It kind of educated me a little bit, and I do appreciate that greatly. And if you guys have any questions or comments, just leave them down below. Please leave a like and subscribe, and let's get on with the build. So starting off with stats. Now with Bard, what you want to go ahead and pick essentially is going to be specialization and swiftness. Now with specialization and swiftness, you're really going to go ahead and focus on these two. I do like to go a little bit more spec than swiftness, just because with spec you do get a higher meter gain compared to swiftness. With swiftness you do get lower cooldowns, but again, I like my meter gain to be kind of a lot quicker so that I can drop down my heal if ever necessary. So going on with engravings, your first pickup that you want to go ahead and get is going to be Desperate Salvation. Now, Desperate Salvation is going to help you and your team essentially gain your HP back if necessary. This is going to be 24% of your max HP, so you do want to stay relatively high HP or full HP at all times before you drop this, because it's going to be based off your HP, or the heal amount will be based off your HP. So you do want to be just wary of that before you cast it. Again, in emergencies, anything helps, but again, more HP, better heal. So the next pickup is going to be Awakening. Now this is just going to go ahead and reduce the cooldown of your Awakening skill by 50% at level 3. So I believe that's going to be about 1 minute. Again, your Awakening is going to be your best shield that you can give as a Bard. It's 100% of your max HP. So again, staying max HP is a #1 requirement to being the best Bard that you can be. Since once you cast your Awakening skill, it's basically going to be a second health bar for not only you, your teammates. That shield is very useful, especially if it's going to be a really big AoE skill, or just a skill to kind of save people from taking huge amounts of damage. And especially paired with the next engraving expert, it's going to increase the healing and also the shield effectiveness. Depending on the HP, of course, I believe it's 50% or lower, it's going to be a lot better. But again, anything helps in terms of being the best Bard, whether it's healing or your shields. Expert's going to basically kind of do best of both worlds on that. The next pickup you want to go ahead and kind of focus on a little more is going to be Heavy Armor. Since Bard is a very squishy class, really low HP compared to the rest of the classes, I do recommend picking this up just so that you can at least have some survivability. So the last engraving you want to go ahead and pick up is going to be Vital Point, just so that you can help out your team in stagger checks. Since Bard doesn't have too many stagger skills, this is just going to greatly help that stagger check a lot better. Again, also just helps out when trying to stun the boss. So again, a really nice pickup to get, and I really recommend getting this just for the added benefit of helping out your team. Now next up is going to be your skills. Now this is going to be for T3. I'll go ahead and include one for tier 2 as well. Feel free to kind of screenshot this just so that you can kind of go ahead, but I'll go ahead and just explain a little bit for some of you that don't know about the tripods or want to see what the best tripods are and explanation for that. Again, you want to go ahead and pick up Sound Shock as your first skill. This is going to be one of your main skills that you're going to be casting. So I do recommend picking up a good rune, as shown here. You want to go ahead and max this out to level 10. You want to get Quick Prep, Sacred Shock. This is going to actually do holy damage now, so it just does a little bit of extra damage, and then also does 10% more party damage, which is kind of helpful. And then with Rapid Fire, it's going to be shooting 2 shots instead of just 1. Your next skill is going to be Rhapsody of Light. This is just going to be holy damage, so it's going to be dealing a good amount of damage. It's going to be a relatively longer cooldown skill, so you do want to go ahead and pick up Quick Prep for this. The next one is going to be Note Brand, which is going to be kind of like Sound Shock, where it does 10% more party member damage. And then the last tripod you want to pick up is going to be Shining Protection. Now this is going to be for anyone that's in that AoE skill, essentially. They're going to be getting incoming damage reduction by 50%. So it is going to be super helpful, and then it also gives them a shield of 10% of their HP, so that just helps them survive a little bit, or even just kind of tank a little bit of that damage if they get any. Your next pickup is going to be Wind of Music. This is going to be your main skill to get your Serenade meter up, and also it's going to be your main shield that you're going to be giving off to your team. With this skill, it does deal a little bit of damage, and it's a relatively low radius skill. It's a radius of 1 meter, so you do want to be kind of close to your team when casting this. You want to go ahead and max this out to level 10, and you want to get Quick Prep, Melody Increase to essentially help you gain more gain more of your Serenade meter. And then lastly, Wind of Protection, which is just going to give you that shield, which is going to be 25% of your max HP. Again, anyone that's hit by it within that 1 meter radius is going to be getting that shield. So just stay close to your team, or even just try to focus on the main DPS or even melee classes, since they are up close and you can essentially help them out. Next up is going to be Sonic Vibration. Now with Sonic Vibration, it is going to be a AoE skill, so you do just want to be wary of where you're going to be casting this. It does have a stagger of mid, which is going to be really helpful in stagger checks, and especially paired with Vital Point hit, it's going to help you out a lot and your team. You want to go ahead and get this to max level at level 10 and pick up Protective Vibration, which is just going to go ahead and give you a shield on a hit, so it doesn't need to land. And that just helps you survive a little bit more. You want to go ahead and pick up Brilliant Wave, which is going to be dealing holy damage now, so a little bit damage amplification for that. And also anyone that's in that AoE is going to be getting a 15% attack power buff, so they deal a little bit more damage. So I like to just throw this down basically on top of the boss, so any melee character is just going to be dealing more damage. You also want to go ahead and pick up Wide Angle Attack, since this is going to go ahead and just make it a bigger AoE. So it's going to be a little bit hard to miss this, but again, just throw it on top of the boss and you should all be good. So the next pickup you want to go ahead and get is going to be Soundaholic. Now Soundaholic is going to be your main DPS skill, so cast this whenever you can basically, but do be wary since it's a kind of point and cast, and it is a channeling one, so you do have to stand still the entire time. Now for Soundaholic, what you want to go ahead and pick up is going to be Sound Concentration. Since Sustained Enhancement and then Focus Fire, these are just going to be increasing the damage and duration of Soundaholic. Now your main skill that's going to be increasing your Serenade meter is going to be Prelude of Storm. Now with Prelude of Storm, you just need to get this to level 7, and you want to go ahead and pick up Quick Prep, just for a cooldown reduction, and then Melody Increase for that increased Serenade meter gain. And your 2 main skills that you're going to go ahead and pick up that you're going to be casting basically 24/7 throughout any raid or dungeon or whatever you're doing basically is going to be Heavenly Tune. Now with Heavenly Tune, you want to get this to level 10. You want to get Quick Prep for cooldown reduction, Tough Tune so that you can get attack speed on this, and then also Intense Tune. Now Intense Tune is going to go ahead and give this off to the rest of your team, and it's going to give them also attack power buff. Your next skill, Guardian Tune, you're going to go ahead and just get this to level 7 with Mind Enhancement and Endless Protection. Now Endless Protection will be giving you a small shield at the end of the duration, so that you can go ahead and help out your team. Both of these skills, Heavenly Tune and Guardian Tune, will be a huge AoE, so it's very hard to miss your team. And again, just be mindful of always casting these as much as you can when you got it off cooldown. And lastly, it's going to be your Awakening skill, Symphonia. That's going to be your best shield in the game, basically. Again, it has to be your max HP, so try to stay full HP as much as possible, and you'll be giving the best shield in the game. So for card sets, there's really only 2 card sets that you want to go ahead and get, and it's going to be Field Boss 2, which is pretty easily attainable. But the next one I do recommend a little bit more, since it just gives you a little bit better buff once you actually get a 30-piece Awakening for it, which is going to be Farewell Weapon. Again, this is going to be a little bit more of a mid-tier one, so it's going to be a little bit harder to get. But these two are going to be increasing your HP, which is great, especially since your shields are based off your max HP. So you want to go ahead and pick that up as well. And another good thing that I recommend doing as well is getting your pet engraving for the HP. Just to give you that 5% increase in max HP. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate all the comments that I got on the last video and all the love and views. Again, I do apologize for the mistakes I did, but hopefully I did correct it on this one. Leave me a comment on how you guys did on being a bard with this build, and leave a like, subscribe, and then I'll go ahead and push out more content. I am going to be posting every Wednesday, so keep looking out. Alright guys, peace.